Sherman, you've got to hit the on button. I don't know. I'm not hitting the right button. Sherman,
It's a bit much over there, huh?
Well, I mean, when we used to get them in charge of the technicals. So I'm sorry, but Sherman was just trying to. He gets under pressure, and it's like he can't handle it. So.
Well, I think he's starting to feel the role, and he figures he needs a staff, and now he needs to be in charge and boss everybody around. He's
blossoming, and he thanks you, Charles, because I would have never given him the opportunity. But, hey, good morning, dude. How are you?
Good. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
You know what? I'm better. I'm here. I'm chilling. I'm about to chat some guitar, so I'm stoked. We're chatting about kind of an embarrassing subject for me because all of the music that I liked coming up was not quite maybe as cool as, because everybody looks at me as a pillar of coolness, right? And so I try to live up to that. And sometimes if I let you in, a peek behind the curtain and you get to see how uncool I was.
Well, I think that's all the case for us, for all of us. And it's a matter of, those journeys are actually sometimes really important, right? How do you get from one place to the other? And what is the thing that soundtrack of your life? What is it? And what are all those voices that are in the back of your head that form you and your personal style? So I want to welcome everyone. Welcome to Guitar Story. And we're going to be talking about the soundtrack of your life today. And so let's go ahead and start with roll call, Seth. And, of course, first in the chat, Herb of Fireside Studios. And our buddy from Arizona.
Herb.
Yep, Herb of Fireside Studios. And our buddy from Arizona, Rico B. And the Austrians are in the house early with L&M Guitar Corner. We got Josh Tanberg.
Guys, L&M.
Rockers has already made his way in. We have the Ben Coombs, who will be having his show later tonight, which should be a lot of fun.
Ben's is always the most fun.
Always.
Last night, I couldn't watch last night the whole time because I wasn't expecting it, and then it came in out of left field, and then got all ridiculed for trying to be on the digitals at a time I shouldn't be on the digitals.
Yeah. Been there, know that well. But it was a good show, so it's worth it really is worth the rewatch of Fruitcake's Tony show last night.
Thank you for sending me the link on there. For some reason, I'm going to have my Fruitcake notifications, which I'll make sure to go back and fix because that's some bullshit.
I have a really embarrassing story about that show, but I'm going to leave it for Ben to talk about tonight.
Okay.
I got all excited. There was a Waylon Jennings Show Me Your Pick show, and I sent Ben a message.
Pants on.
Yeah. So, But going back to our chat, we've got River Docs has made it in, and people are just chatting up. We've got Keith H in the chat, Janice Lava, Dave Chase,
Guitar Man,
Guitar Man 45. So welcome in everybody.
Guitar Man, this is nitro finish with a flamed Warmoth neck. It's been plecked. It's single. Yeah, man.
Ben, I am sure you will tell that whole embarrassing story tonight. Matter of fact, I'm surprised it didn't get told last night.
Well, it's good to have something on the line for later, right? To always have something funny to pull out. That's a good way to go.
It's even more embarrassing. I'll put it in the. I can't say anything more without giving it away.
Man, L&M's logo is so good too, and Ben's logo is really good. But L&M's logo is like very high definition.
Yeah,
it's Woo, very well done, y'all. Sorry, I love hitting that button. I feel like I'm in charge of something for once.
Well, you are. That you are co-host. It is your role, and all too often I forget to bring those up, and so. Of course, and Ben did tell the guys off air before the show. Okay, so great.
everybody knows.
How it
No,
didn't come out, I don't know.
Absolutely.
So this soundtrack of your life, right? I mean, everybody's, a lot of us have things that are common in our soundtracks, right? But
Yes.
I think there's a lot that's in common, but there's a lot that's different, and it kind of makes that whole thing up. And for example, starting in my household, my father was the biggest Elvis fan. And so, your first soundtrack of your life really is the music that your parents listened to. And so in my house, now keep in mind, I grew up in Connecticut, which makes where this is going a little even more weird. But so my household, it was, most of the music was Elvis, but the rest of it tended to be country, Roy Clark, Jerry Reed, Charlie Pride, Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson. And so, so it was, that and rockabilly. That was the music that was being played,
like
around,
the Stray Cats,
around the house. Yeah, it was being listened to. And so when you watch the evening programs, if one of the old rockabilly performers were up, right? When in the 70s, when Sha Na Na came out, we watched every week because it was like that trip back for my parents, right? And so I figured this out. I was thinking about this as I was preparing for the show. This is where I get my love of hollow bodies from.
Yep. Everybody had one. And Telecasters.
Yep, exactly.
I mean,
the first music that I was really introduced to, it was all hollow bodies and Telecasters.
Right.
Thank God I didn't go in for the banjo. It'd be all over.
Or the mandolin. Think of all the strings that you would get to change.
Yes.
Make sure to eat your oatmeal. It's nutritious.
And so in our chat, Ben is saying there's always a song playing in his head, sometimes a cover, sometimes an original. And I think that's interesting, right? Whether it's the cover or the original, right?
I am having energy drink, Keith, with my coffee. And my coffee is exceedingly strong. And the energy drink is just like, this is the moment that I actually wake up. Because, I get online with Charles and everybody's here. And I'm like, dude, this is great. This is like a shot in the arm. This is almost kind of like paddling out when you go surfing. You know what I mean? Because it gives you that, like, the waves are there and you're stoked that all your friends are there. So that's where I get my energy, dude. I appreciate you. Somebody just texted me. Oh.
Hey, Ben, would you do me a favor?
Hey, Charles, get this. Look, it's one of those text chains that would have used to destroy us. Yes. Why do people do that on a group text from work? They want to say happy birthday to somebody, and then everybody else on 16 people all get the repeated text. Anyway, I'm sorry. We're going to go on that rant again when we don't need to, but sometimes we need to. Maybe we need to make a YouTube short about that because come on, y'all. So, all right, here we go.
Uh-oh.
Hold on, I'm going to do... All right, that's all I did. All I want to know is that everybody here, to know my musical background, should stop, collaborate, and listen. Set this here with a brand new invention, something got to hold you tightly, smooth like a criminal, some daily and nightly. Will it ever stop? I don't know. Pick up the mic and I'll flow. Take that mic and let the DJ revolve it. Oh, yo, got a problem? Yo, I'll solve it. Ice, ice, baby. Boom, boom.
Oh, my.
Yeah, man. You know how I... Look at the haircut.
I want to welcome in Hip Metalworks and Blackjack Guitar. Welcome in. We're talking about the soundtrack of our lives.
Come on, Ellen. It didn't strike it. It was only 6 seconds. They give you like 10 seconds before they'll strike it. Oh, because of my perfect rendition of it and that I look so much like him, that's an obvious strike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be what it is.
Hey, maybe our group knows this. I didn't get a strike, but I got a copyright on the which I don't even really know what that means anyway. It says nothing is against your video, but somebody has seen copyrighted material, which I want to know who somebody is because it's a video about parts that I bought from Guitar Fetish. It's just an unboxing. Whose property is that? I paid for the package. I paid for the shipping. I paid for the parts inside the box. Everything that came here was mine. Why does somebody else have copyright on that?
I don't remember any music being in the background. I don't remember.
It's my music in the background, and that's why I play my music. So they can't tag me for that. Oh wait, should I sing "I Need You Now" and see if we get a copyright strike from Seth Presley? He's
maybe. That guy is a pain. So welcome in Ryan of OU812, and also welcome in Internationally Insane Studios. And International Insane Studios, thank you so much. He has been watching a lot of my back catalog lately, and it's really kind of nice to see those videos coming back up.
Nice.
All right, so I want to get River Docs in here because I want to, get the audience involved here a little bit. So River Doc said he had a sister 12 years older than me, so she was a Beatles fanatic, and mom and dad were listening to country, big Buck Owens fans, right? And so it's amazing. So that first part of that is of your experience is what was the music that your parents were listening to. So Seth, what was that for you? What was going on in your household? What was that first sample like for you?
My mom and dad, were hippies, kinda. My dad in Maine, he would have been like listening to. Well, he liked rock and roll, I guess. Like from when I first remember, it was like listening to Sweet Home Alabama and shit like that I can like driving in the truck, going fishing and stuff that I remember actually listening to songs that I can remember. But who knows what he really loved growing up. I wish he knew how to freaking comment. You do know how to text me that. He usually watches. I didn't send him the link, but he usually watches. But tell me what you listened to growing up. I know that we would listen to whatever was on the radio in Maine, which isn't a very broad spectrum of music. They were playing hip hop. But then I would come back out to California where, one of my favorite artists growing up were rap artists, and some of them were hardcore rap artists. And when I started playing drums, it was very cool because I loved metal music and I loved the beats of the rap. So I would go and play with people who all wanted to play metal, but I would be doing these rap beats because they were more fun to me to play, to try to incorporate. And that's what Unjust, our band, kind of ended up sounding like, that rap rock, which ended up being super popular. Beats actually changed for a while.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
And so L&M Guitar Corner, Martin says that his parents' music was AC/DC, Queen, SRV, Clapton, Meatloaf, and it doesn't show it all in any of his videos.
Yeah,
definitely all his influences there, and those are things that still influence Martin today. He's got AC/DC presets that he set for his he's got SRV,
got the SG build,
Clapton. So those things have stuck with him as well. So speaking of parent music stories, right, and shape how these things shape your life and stick with you. I've got a story. We were driving with my mother in the car, my mother and my three brothers, right? And we're going down the road. And in the 8-track, is Kenny Rogers.
Yes.
Okay. Song playing is Something's Burning.
Something's Burning.
Right. The song playing is Something's Burning. And in the middle of the song, the 8-track player catches fire.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, I know that our community wants you and I to do a rendition of Islands in the Stream. That is what you are. Come on. Come on, Charles. You have to come back.
I'm not
Get on
suggesting.
back, Charles. You got to bring it back. I sent it out there. I know I gave you the dolly part, but come on. Anyway.
I'm not going there. Just no.
No one in between. How could we be wrong? Sorry.
Oh, so Bunker says that you need a fabric top hanging behind you. And that's a really interesting comment because there used to be one hanging behind you.
But it was the favorite. So my best friend's daughter came over and I was like, I said, choose. She has this yellow one up there, up here. That's hers that I built. And she just came over and I let her swap out. And her favorite of all the guitars that I had was Charles's. And so it's coming back, but it'll probably, in mine, but the flat fabric top. But we should do another one. But I know that you've got a lot on your plate. So, yeah.
Well, I am game to do one whenever you want. Whenever you want to do another project together, that one's a lot of fun. I think you and I both had fun with it. And what you did with it after you got with it was fantastic. I loved the tarnished hardware that you put on it, the aged hardware that went onto it, and I love that video of you playing it.
Oh, thanks, dude. I can't play. This thing has got unbelievable.
So Janice is getting ready to go to an afternoon jam, and so she's packing up and getting ready for that. So very cool.
Sorry, I'm just letting you hear this, and this is a certain chord progression that this guitar. Listen. Some people know that progression.
There you go. So Ben is saying
who knows that
I'm getting all the packages today.
Damn, lucky.
Don't know anything about this, but okay.
You sent a package or no?
No, I do have a package though, and it's going to be on an unboxing later. I got my package from Laz, which is the pickups that were sent to me by Martin of L&M Guitar Corner, and of course they are going to be going into the Pinup and Skulls telly.
Nice.
And so, as long as we're doing that, I'm really toying with the idea of maybe Baja wiring it as well.
Okay.
So, don't know.
I got a package yesterday, but it came day before yesterday, but it came to the wrong house after waiting for it for 14 months. Okay. I ordered this when I lived in my old house in Nevada more than a year ago, but it finally came. And I'd like to unveil it because it's something that I designed, which I thought.
Let me solo you out here.
Oh, thanks, dude.
There's looking. Hold on.
So AlanEden.com had a time where you could do a custom order through them. So you can order the body however you want. So I designed this body how I wanted it to be and went with single, back routed. So I'll just do one volume, one tone, and 3 mini toggle switches on and off for each pickup. And then the back route is nice and big for all my electronics. It's hardtail. And then I did 3-bolt instead of 4-bolt. I know you're going to hate me. Haters going to hate, but I just, I don't care. I actually want to only take off 3 bolts, not 4. And then I did my output jack down there. I did that because at the time I was doing 2 outputs and running stereo into everything. But since then I've kind of changed. So I think I'm just going to run the 1 and make it look a lot like a Music Man Luke or something. It's got a flame that's going to go on.
You are really liking those sparkle finishes.
I ordered this a year and over. So when I ordered this, I couldn't get sparkle finishes, and now they're readily available. Like now, the company that I order from more often, Guitar Fetish, has them ready, and they're great. They're really, really nice. And I paid 3 times the amount of money for this, and waited a year and a half almost for the blue one, and other than just ordering this one, which you can go and find it, order it, and it'll come. But their quality, sometimes you can get ones that either really you need to address something with it and fix it, or you need to send it back and ask for a different one. They'll send you stuff sometimes that is not up to quality, but you can return it. They're cool about it.
This is why Ben was talking about getting all the packages, because he was saying that my Ring alarm kept going off and I wasn't hearing it because I was focused on what was going on here. And so
right.
I was ignoring his phone. It's like, okay, great. Oh, so much fun. So much fun.
Yep. So, okay. Aside from Vanilla Ice, I also, one of the first cassette tapes that I had, two of the first two cassette tapes that I had were Van Halen 1984 and Kiss. What was the one with Lick It Up on it? It was the one where they didn't have makeup. The first one where they went makeup.
I don't know, because I wasn't a big Kiss fan. I only listened to them if it actually came on the radio.
Well, that song Lick It Up, you should go and listen to it later today with headphones on, because it's a quintessential rock song, driving bass line, lyric comes in, and then the guitar is just like very sparse, do, don't want to wait till you know me better. So good. Everything rock should be.
And it's funny how those things, they come in and they just become a part of who you are, right? And it's something that is clearly you feel about the same way about that song now that you did then.
When you're in the right place with your people, this might have happened to you. When you're around your people, you feel like you can sing out a lyric, the right lyric, and you'll get the call and response.
Yes.
If you're in an elevator with a bunch of, someone's got a Kiss shirt and you can just tell, you could be like, don't want to wait till you know you're better. And they're either going to punch you or they're going to head nod, or they might give you the call and response, which would be cool. Then you'd have a friend.
Excellent. So let's grab some things from the chat here, because River Doc says Don Rich and George Harrison were the first guitar players that really kind of tickled his ears and got his interests. And then our buddy Bonkers, for him, it started with Motley Crue. It evolved into Metallica and Pantera, then Rancid and NoFX. And so...
Hey, go back and listen to early Motley Crue and try not to be embarrassed for Vince Neil. When he must hear that stuff, and he was great, but his voice was so high and so pinny. Really great and such a good rocker and did really good. And I still like you, Vince, but come on, man, that was wow. And you know what? OU812 Ryan said never liked Kiss, and I totally get it. Here's the problem with my musical journey is I, for some reason, got Kiss and not all their stuff, not back from, but like from that point on, Lick It Up, and never ever really got Rush. It wasn't a part of my journey. Like I never listened to Rush until I was an adult, and then I went back. I was like, how did I miss these guys? These guys are all much better. Like really good, and their songs go on these journeys, and they're like musically more advanced. But I missed it because I was like rocking out. So
definitely. And coming back to River Docs, and I had to come to this one because I know exactly what River Docs is talking about here. Scotty Moore, played on all those Elvis records. His phrasing was fantastic, right? And something really that might have been really simple is just phrase so well it sticks in your head, and all those licks from the Elvis records are always running through my head, and I can't help but think them. And when you look at again, take yourself back to the Elvis '68 comeback special, right? And he's sitting around on the stage and he's playing it, and when Elvis has the hollow body and he's playing it. That's Scotty Moore's hollow body he's playing.
What was one of your first concerts?
My absolute first concert was in the 80s. I went to see Bob Seger.
Okay.
Was my first one.
Did your parents take you, or you went with friends and brothers or whatever?
That one, my mom took me and one of my friends.
All right, so here you go. Here's my childhood traumatic upbringing. 5th grade, like way too young to be going to a Venom, Slayer, Metallica, and Exodus concert in San Francisco at the Kabuki Theater, which is like on the corner of Stab and Murder Avenue. You know, it's like, okay, let's just drop you off. Here you go, kids. So the only reason I got in is because we bought dinner tickets that put you in this area where you sat at a table and watched the chaos. And I remember being way too young to be there, and somebody coming and like grabbing me and screaming, "Yeah, rock and roll!" and like me being like, "Ah, rock and roll." Yep. So that was like my first big concert that I remember. I really wanted to go to Venom, Slayer, Metallica, and Exodus.
Of course, Guitar Man 45, his parents, they came from the old country. They came to America after World War II, so there was a lot of Warren Spelk going on, a lot of Gene Krupa Sinatra, and Bing Crosby, right? So, and I remember hearing those growing up as well, right? Those were part of that soundtrack of my life, especially when we were with my grandparents as well.
Yep. 85 ZZ Top. Oof. Oh, sorry. I always hit the one right because it's moving. It's a moving target.
Yes.
Yeah, 1985 ZZ Top. Mm-hmm. I mean, so that ZZ Top was another one of the first cassette tapes and was absolutely one of the first 5 compact discs that we owned in the household. I can also say that when we went and bought our first compact disc player from Guitar Center, Stevie Ray Vaughan was the first thing we put on. So that was my household. That's like what my stepdad listened to.
Yep. Want to welcome in Octopus Ears. Nice to see you in the chat this morning, buddy. And Internationally Insane Studios. It's we might have grown up in the same house and just don't know it because these are all on my list as well. Right? These are the bands I heard of. I remember the summer that the Charlie Daniels, when they came out with The Devil Went Down to Georgia. And
totally.
It was, that song is so ingrained in my head. It plays all the time. And so you really have to sit there and look.
Well, actually, that's a good call. I remember hearing Devil Went Down to Georgia when I was back in Maine because I would go back there for the summer times. And I remember thinking, oh, that dude rips. Somebody's ripping right there. And even though it was on banjo, what were they shredding on? It was banjo, right? I think because was it guitar too?
Well, they had Charlie Daniels had everything to go on. They had the violin, they had the guitar.
It was the violin, the one that I was listening to. The player hard. Yeah, buddy. They were playing them fiddles hard, is what they were doing. I was like, oh, that sounds just like my friends out playing their Mesa boogies.
And I do believe they did have a banjo in the mix at times.
Yep. I think anybody over 50 years old should be able to send a cease and desist letter to these new kids that are playing more than like 100 notes in a minute. All right. All this prolifia. You got to slow it down. Too many notes. I watched something called, have you seen it? ABC from Prolifia?
No, I have not.
Oh, it goes like this. And now this is exactly how it goes. Yep.
And so going back to the whole Kiss thing, both Herb and River Docs are telling us that Lick It Up was on Lick It Up.
He laid that fiddle on the ground at Johnny's feet because he's burning that fiddle.
And Michael B. Live says Kiss Originals was the first album he asked for. Just kind of filling you with the Kiss stuff there. So.
Yeah. They had tone too, like because they were very bass forward, right? Their bass was like, and they had good guitar tone. I mean, come on, right? Ace Frehley playing, he was pretty good, but not unbelievable shredding. So OU812 raised on radio. And I'm certain there's got to be some Van Halen in the soundtrack of his life. I'm just saying. He might know a song or two. Play your fiddle. Now I'm gonna go listen to that song later.
It was we played it all the time. I know that another one that was played in our house a whole lot was Johnny Paycheck.
Oh
Take
yeah,
this job and shove it.
yeah.
There was a lot of country in my house. I'm like, and I didn't think anything of it as a kid, but as an adult, I was like, how did we get so much country in my house? Because my father was from Pennsylvania, right? Not really Southern, you know, at all. And my mother's family's from New York State. It's, you know, not what you would have thought of
Super country.
that would have been country, but there was a lot of country played in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, morning, John DeShane. His first concert was the Monsters of Rock, and boy, is that a great way to start, right?
Yeah. Yep. Monsters of Rock with I went to Van Halen, Metallica, Scorpions, Dokken, Kingdom Come, and somebody else was on that tour. That's the one I went to that was like the true Monsters of Rock. And the thing I remember the most, or one of the main things from that concert, was there were some women, and I say women because I was a little kid, walking around with tops that they had made out of saran wrap. And they made it blurry enough to where you could get away with whatever, but it was like, oh, this is illuminating that society is like this. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm at the right place. Rock on. Metallica. Me and my brother got separated during Metallica, and I was like lost for the whole show.
I wonder why. So his first concert was Yes, and Octopus Ears follows it up with Metallica. 2002 Candlestick was his first concert, and he said it was great.
Nice.
And Internationally Insane Studios said, yep, Stepdad had every Beatles album and loved them too. So that was part of his early soundtrack.
Nice. Octopus Ears, Metallica, and Dad's truck. What kind of truck? I got to know now. Octopus. Yeah, that's a big part of life, right? Ford F-150. Cool. I had plenty of Fords. Chevy 2500. What are we talking about? That's cool.
So Guitar Man 45 was there for ZZ Top, seeing Def Leppard there as well in probably about 82 or so. That
I'm lost in Boobland.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's a thing, right? So a lot of our people have been lost, and there's no map in Boobland. It's very easy to get lost. I mean, you walk in, there's boobs, and then suddenly you're kind of confused. You're like, oh, it's like walking through Costco. What aisle? There's some. So I'm sorry.
Focus, Beth. Focus.
It's difficult to do.
Soundtrack.
It's a guitar show. It's a guitar show.
So River Doc says his first concert was around 1972 or so. Poco and Yes. Excuse me.
Ford F-150.
I am going to learn to read one day. I promise.
Don't worry about it, Charles. I'd be getting there pretty soon.
And you got to love this. Martin is starting the kids early. His daughter was at her first concert a few weeks ago at age 8. Nice. The Blues Caravan, Allie Venable, was there as well. Texan lady. And it was just a great time. And his daughter was completely blown away.
Yeah, live music will do that to you, right? It'll make you want to be somebody, which it's nice to expose kids to want to be somebody awesome, because if not, and if that's ignored, they end up wanting to be somebody not awesome. So, yeah. Wayne McConnell was Prism and Triumph. Who's Prism and Triumph?
Well, Triumph is a Canadian band, and they were really popular back in the 80s, I believe it was.
Okay.
But Prism is not one I'm familiar with.
I have to check it out. That's cool. Sorry. How do I get rid of that one again?
Okay, I'll just put that one on. Oh, wow.
Sorry, I must have hit it right when you hit the other one.
No, that's okay. And so Martin is just, kind of following it up with when his daughter tells her to play the cool stuff, she's referring to AC/DC. This girl is on the right track.
Absolutely. AC/DC.
And of course, Herba Fireside Studios, Kiss Alive 1 hooked him, and when it came out all those years ago. So excellent. It's really interesting. This is it's really interesting seeing, after we've talked with all these folks in the chat and some of them, online in hangs and things of that nature, really seeing where their music
dude, it's sending me back. Like this one, right? He's sending me back, dude. Oh shoot, hold on.
Oh, so sorry.
I wanted to see the one about Ronnie James Dio. About Dio. Who said Dio? Black. Oh, here we go. Cushman.
Go ahead. Hey, Cush, how are you?
Ronnie James Dio, dude. I forgot I used to listen to Dio, Diver Down, right? To run from the east, it's a riding in the beast. And you never. Sorry, but boy, so good.
This is one I am jealous of. Dave Chase saw SRV, Run DMC, and ZZ Top all in one concert. In Hawaii, of all things. There is nothing bad about that. There's absolutely nothing bad about that.
Here's something about that, too, is that the musicians are probably in a pretty good mood. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, you're seeing them in Hawaii. You're not seeing them in Boise in the winter. Or something like that, where they arrived and they're like, they're just mad. Yeah, that's amazing. Wow, what year was that?
I don't know.
I missed a Michael Jackson concert in Hawaii. I was living in Hawaii and had kind of a chance to go to and I was like, $30? Screw you. And missed that and probably should have gone to that just because I was having fun.
And Internationally Insane Studios was attacked by a few women at a Metallica concert in Kalamazoo, Michigan in 1991. And he didn't report it. It was really fun.
Yeah.
It's an interesting case of Stockholm Syndrome there.
1983. Good times. Mm-hmm. I found an original Pong machine. This is before the Atari released the cartridge Atari in our garage. We were cleaning it out, and it's like the original. And then I looked it up and it's only worth like $60 on eBay or something. It's just kind of screwed. So I'll just keep it for another 30 years and see what the hell. Do you remember the song "Invisible" from Dio? Starts slow and melodic, then rocks out. Well, yeah, dude. But the last in line, if you're going to listen to Dio, take Hit Metalworks' suggestion and go with headphones. Again, with headphones. So good. And remember, when you're listening to it, like the year that it was, like it's a thing, right? It's so good. Our chat actually moves fast now. It's like
it does. We finally just caught up. I was amazed by how far back in the chat we were. And just kind of catching up. And so if you see me laughing while we're doing something, it's because I saw a comment that I wish I would have caught in time, and it's just tickling me.
Oh, what we missed?
It was there was a comment how you were lost in Boobland.
That's why I was saying. That's why I continued on, because I caught that, and I was describing how it is a lot like a Costco. And,
yeah.
That I was, it's truly a thing. It is a place. Actually, I believe I don't know. I've been in a number of Booblands. Boobland, California.
So, morning, Michael Kraus. Welcome in. I hadn't seen you before.
Holy Diver.
Holy Diver. Why, enough said.
Holy Diver was the album. Last in Line was one of the songs. And Holy Diver was also a song, right? I think I was singing Holy Diver.
Well, Hit Metalworks says Holy Diver and Last in Line are great albums.
Oh, they're both separate
albums. Both different albums.
I think I was the last in line when I was going to get the Holy Diver.
Okay. So So
Oh, guess what happened? No, they were selling the Holy Diver albums, and they got down to the last guy. I'm like, oh, you're the last in line. Oh, we've got our next album name.
So Seth, what was the first album you bought yourself?
Whoa,
You
that's
laid
all
your
we
money
got.
down.
Mr. Presley doesn't buy a lot of stuff. He's poor. What did I buy for myself that I can remember purchasing? Also, like I was also a younger brother, and so nothing I wanted to do in my life was cool. It all had to be taken from him. Holy Toledo. Well, I think, okay, I'll tell you this. The first album I remember breaking away from my brother and I think purchasing or having and saying, screw you, this is cool, was Purple Rain.
Okay.
Yep. And I was like, if you don't like Prince, that's fine for you, but I think Prince is cool. And I think I kind of like Bon Jovi a little bit too, like the shot through the heart. Mm-hmm. And that was too lame for him because he was very much Pantera, Venom Slayer, hardcore stuff.
So I've got an interesting story about the first album that I bought. One of the bands that once I got into picking my own music, one of the bands I absolutely loved was Styx.
Oh, yes.
And like you, I was a poor fellow growing up.
Yeah.
And so I wanted the Best of Styx album on vinyl, right? It was like, okay, well, but I didn't have the money for it. And so I got together with a buddy from school, and we bought the album together. We both chipped in for it.
You did it through Friday.
He took in more than I did, and so he took the album home, and he recorded it on the cassette for me. And so I had a bootleg copy of the Best of Styx.
Nice. We had the double cassette recorders that you could. Everybody wanted to have that so you can make a copy of everybody's tape.
Yeah.
Oh, first album for Ben. That's epic. We got to show this. Michael Jackson.
Given the time period that in which he would have been, of age to go buy his first album, that makes perfect sense.
Yep.
Yeah. And Prince was one hell of a guitarist. One of the things that I never really realized until I saw him at one of those George Harrison remembrance concerts, right? Mm-hmm. And all the big guitarists are up on stage playing the solo from My Guitar Gently Weeps, and I was just absolutely blown away when Prince got up there and played the solo. It was something I was not expecting from him, right? It's like unbelievable.
He has these crazy chords. Like that's one of the chords that he uses in Purple Rain. Come on.
Take care, River Dogs.
That's like, why? And then the only normal chord in Purple Rain is really it's F. But all his chords are these big, open, weird Prince chords that are more than. They're probably not all his. They're probably that woman Wendy, who was an amazing guitarist that helped him a lot. But Shredders, so good. That guitar needs to be tuned.
Well, it is that time of year where temperatures are fluctuating backwards and forwards, and every time you pick up a guitar, it has to be tuned, it seems like. The interesting thing was I picked up the Telly earlier this morning and to tune it, and I don't know, maybe I'm playing drop D in my sleep or something, but my low E string was solidly in D, and all my other strings were in tune.
It's been truss rod season for me because a lot of maple necks. Good call out from Michael. Those chords were all windy, which I knew that. Like I've seen a couple of YouTube videos with her, or she's an amazing player, really good.
And Guitar Man 45 says Styx was a big deal back in the late 70s, early 80s. He constantly kept he constantly kept talking all the girls to see them going with him to those concerts back then. And it was that was one of the great things about Styx. They were, they had the songs that were absolute rockers. They had songs that were ballads, and then they had songs that would start out with a ballad and then go into a rocker, right?
Something unique about Styx, right? They never played a concert with the Rolling Stones because they just didn't want people to say Sticks and Stones. And it's a fact. They just both bands were like, we're just not doing it. We know it could be big. We know people would like it, but we're not going to be a part of the Sticks and Stones festival.
So. There's a lot of love from Prince. Internationally Insane Studios was listening to Prince all the way back in 1979. So, yeah.
Yep. That little dude with his high heels. And
it might have been. I must be playing Waylon tunes in my sleep, Mr. Coon. Wayne, that's an interesting question. I don't know what the brand. I think it was a Fender. I really do. It was, if I remember right, it was a butterscotch. A butterscotch. Yeah.
Huh. Oh yeah. So yep, I think that then I went into heavier music, like punk rock in junior high and high school. And then everything softened up when I moved to Hawaii, I stopped like heavy metal. Well, kind of like Skid Row still.
This comment is up here for you, Seth.
In the late 90s, I got in my teens. Yes. Yep. Wu-Tang, obviously Tupac. Yep. Mm-hmm. I was listening to the Ghetto Boys and to who else was like super hardcore? The Ghetto Boys. Bushwick Bill was like the most ghetto rapper. But yeah, a lot of hardcore rap. But that really wasn't like, it was more of a big brother.
So Michael Krause was an answer for us. It was actually a Hohner, that Telly. Slightly smaller than a regular one. So really cool.
Hohner.
So there you go, Wayne. It was a Hohner.
Mm-hmm.
But we have some thing. Ben is saying if it was in the 80s, Prince would have been playing his Hondo. So he could have been either way.
So Dave, I moved to Hawaii the day after I got my diploma. I went to school in the inner city right next to Oakland, California, in Richmond, California. And it was terrible. It was underserved and awful. So as soon as the minute that I could get out, I bailed. I went to Hawaii. And I lived and surfed every day and just had a job that whatever job I could get, and then I could surf. So, yeah, but Kahuku High, I've hung out. I may or may not have skateboarded there, unless they're still sending out tickets, because I know I have a ticket, Charles, for skateboarding while holding a surfboard, which is illegal in Waikiki. And I somewhere in my stuff, I kept the ticket. Pretty epic.
Excellent. Sounds like a good time. I think so the first concert I went to was Bob Seger. The second one I went to was Genesis.
Ooh.
And it was the Invisible Touch tour. That was phenomenal. That was phenomenal. And I remember and I also went to go see Brian Ferry in a smaller theater.
Right.
A buddy of mine.
But the Invisible Touch tour, I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean that was just fantastic. They were all over the place. You could not get away from the album at that time.
The Invisible Touch is what you want to have when you're in Boobland.
Of course. Yes.
So anyway, yeah, man. That was, I mean, come on. Genesis, he's just musical genius. And who is he going toe to toe with? Who's the other guy that Phil Collins was kind of always going toe to toe with the dude that did Sledgehammer.
Peter Gabriel. Peter Gabriel. Yeah, that was
so. Yeah, because Phil Collins always felt like he wasn't as good looking, but could outdo Peter Gabriel musically. But then Peter Gabriel would come back and just be like, because they were always number one. They were always going back.
Well, you remember they were both in Genesis at one point,
and then they didn't like each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody took somebody's girlfriend. All right, I don't know who knows about that whole thing. We had that show breaking out. Oh yeah, when your band breaks up. Is that Epi Head new?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Oh yeah,
that the Epi Head is new. I picked it up last week, and whoever had it before me had the carriage turned around backwards. So I don't know if they did it in a tube change or what, but they'd actually taken the chassis out of the cabinet and installed it backwards. And so the first thing I did when I got it was I flipped it back around the right way.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you may not see is down on the floor, I didn't have a cab. And
no, that's just an open cab. It's an open front, an open back, an open top, and open sides. But it has a bottom, which we also call the floor.
This is true.
It's a solid bottom cab is what it is. We could call it that. Solid bottom cab. Plugged in. So
let's see.
Does it sound good with that open speaker? That's weird. Probably sounds.
It sounds. It sounds really clean. And let me go ahead and show everybody else what we're talking about at this point, because they can see the cab. What they can't see
is the speaker.
Is the speaker that is on the floor. So, I came in, I flipped I flipped the chassis back around the way it belongs. I didn't have a cab and wanted to test it. And so I just hooked up the extra speaker I had from my PV Classic 30. That's the Black Widow speaker that came in it.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Oh, not the Black Widow, the Scorpion speaker that came in it.
That you pulled out. The one, yeah.
No, I didn't pull out. When I bought it, the guy had already put in a vintage 30 in it.
Oh, so he just gave you one.
And he had the speaker, so I was like, take the speaker, because I can always do, I can either put it back the way it was and make a cab with the Celestian, or I could just make that have that speaker as another cab. And so either way.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, now you could do some kind of, you can run to 2 amps, which is always nice to, get that more full effect. You can run out of a pedal with a wet and dry signal.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool.
Well, the idea is, I think we're going to go ahead and build a cabinet, or find a beat up cabinet, or one or the other. Build a cabinet and then fabric top it to match the Pinup and Skull Steli. I think is what we're probably going to do.
We could fabric
asking to do that for a while.
Fabric match one of your guitars.
Yeah.
And that might be cool.
Yeah, so we're looking at doing that.
Or build a speaker cab out of a old suitcase. That would be cool.
Yeah, Martin, that was really just to go ahead and test it out and see how everything worked, and so making sure that it worked before I moved on to anything else. And so
all switching around the head, the orientation, all that, you want to.
Yeah, and so that amp is pretty much kind of staying off for now. Every once in a while, I'll turn it on for a few minutes, but not for too long. Yeah, we definitely don't want to have any electrocutions here.
Yeah, amps are way, way more dangerous than anything to do with guitars, man. You can get jacked.
But a fella just had to know if it worked. And I didn't, I would have just gone ahead and clipped it to the speaker leads on the Classic 30. But I didn't have 2 wires with alligator clips. And so I was like, okay, well.
Right.
Yeah.
That's always something I always have to add to my list, is to get a bunch of those little clips so that I have them for all kinds of uses, because they're so. Yeah, how do you install the chassis backwards, right? Well, how do you adjust anything when you get, because it only has the one input. It's just the guy was in a rush and then realized he had it backwards and then decided to sell it.
The shape is the same on both sides, except it's vented in the back.
Oh, okay. You can get to everything.
And where it's vented in the back, it's kind of like a grill. And so maybe they thought that look was cooler than the Epiphone in the red, right? Maybe they were hung up on it. It was Epiphone, right? And they wanted
They're trying to get rid of that, the branding, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not sure what the wattage on that head is. I think it's lower than 50 though.
No, it's probably 5 watt.
Yeah, it's like a 5 or 10. Yeah.
Yep. Because
it is a junior. It's a Valve junior, so.
Which is cool, because then you can get it to break up a little bit. There's only volume, master volume?
Yeah, the only input, this is the reason why I wanted it. The only thing you can control is the volume.
So you can't really get it to break up. You can crank it and put a pedal on.
Right, exactly. And so, for me, amps are about simplicity, right? The fewer options, the better. Kind of go with that.
Well, you may have taken that one step forward, and when you have to go sideways, you're going to find out you got a lot more buttons on all your pedals.
Yeah, exactly.
But it is a cool thing, because you want to have a good, clean platform. I've got a Fender Super 210 that is a super good, clean platform if I want good, clean. But I have my Mesa that I use that does all three to my satisfaction. So, clean, mid boost, and insane gain. So I just stay with that. I've been hearing so much hate on Mesa Boogie lately, but I get it. Some people don't like them. And it's not an expensive Mesa. It's just a hot-rodded, well-maintained, lower-end Nomad.
And the thing, I think it's like with everything. You find a sound that you like, right? And so for me, a lot of the gear that I have, it's about opportunity, right? And it's about, okay, I got a great price on that head. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to get it. And it has a thing that appeals to me. It's just got a volume, right? It's just ultra simple,
Right. I think one thing that people don't put into when they're thinking about Mesa and why it's so expensive, and some other brands that are just as expensive, in my humble opinion, don't achieve the quality of roadworthiness. When you buy certain amps from Mesa, they're built for touring musicians and people that are going to gigs. And if you're moving your stuff a lot and you're moving a tube amp a lot, you don't hear a lot of bad stuff about Mesa, about my Mesa broke down on me on the road.
Well, here's the really cool thing is, now that we're talking about Mesas, there are a lot of Mesa comments come in. And so Ben says Mesas are great unless you have to service them, which they do kind of have that reputation, right?
Well, here's the thing, though. For me, I live exactly 25 minutes from the Mesa Petaluma, California headquarters. Yeah. So I don't have to worry as much about that. I've dropped it off, and they went full through it during the pandemic, which was amazing. But I get it. If you expect amps are too hard, too heavy to send, as Mesa gets a lot of
Yeah, I don't think John Duchesne is there with you on the Mesa thing, because he said friends don't let friends buy Mesa.
Which is funny, John, because I bought this Mesa from a guy who was like kind of hooking me up. He was a sponsored musician from a local big band that plays like the Napa County Bottle Rock Festival and all that stuff. And he kind of was just giving me his flow through as he got new equipment. And for me, it's been a lot of the stuff that I have that's long-term equipment has been kind of a gift like that I got that I normally wouldn't be able to afford, but I got through a special circumstance, and now it's my sound. Yeah.
That's the really cool thing about it, especially, those are things that you like to hold on to. It's like, even for all the Guitar Safari you and I talk about, right? Those things that have a personal attachment to them are so much more important. so
Yeah,
much more.
that was a Safari thing. Yeah, I mean, it totally was a Safari score. Yeah, back in it, but I didn't buy it to flip it, which kind of Safari it was kind of designed like let's buy it, fix it up, and flip it. But yeah,
I'm not so much the flipper, but I love the bargain hunting, right? And then that's what Safari is about for me, finding that deal. Internationally Insane Studios, he found a Mesa Boogie 5050 stereo rack mount amp. No preamp yet, but he did get to hear it and it sounded killer. And John Desane, who just said friends don't let friends buy Mesa, says the 5050 is great.
Yeah. See, the 5050 is great. So they do have their place, right? And mine is a 50/5, which is anyway. I use it on the 50 watt through a 210 cab. So go ahead.
And Mesas have that reputation, from my understanding of it, and I don't have any personal experience with this, is that it's harder to adjust the Mesa because things that you would normally do on any other amp don't have the effect when you're trying to dial in Mesa, right? So dialing in your tone is a lot harder. You get a lot more, I guess, experimental.
And they're hypersensitive to guitar changes. So if you're someone who doesn't like to fiddle and you bought a Mesa and you set it up with your Les Paul, and then 2 days later you grabbed a different guitar, then you're probably unhappy with it because you went back and it sounded not like you'd set it up. And that is totally true and totally the case. They're very harmonically sensitive little girls, and you have to run a compressor and do some work with the compressor for your guitar, different guitars.
So John Desane says at the end of the day, if you like it, that's all that matters. It's all about the smiles. And he's so right there.
Yeah, man. And this thing brings me lots of smiles. I live in a place now that I can crank it up. I'm kind of in a studio environment. This room that I'm in was built into the wall of earth on one side, and the other side is over a concrete garage. So I can really crank it up. It's so much fun.
And John is recommending that you find that, try to find a Marshall preamp for that Mesa rack. That would be kind of cool. Yeah.
Mix it up. So everybody go tonight to Ben Coombs. Ben Coombs channel on Sunday Night Hang. It's the jam. It's where we're all going to be, right? All the peeps, all the however many people are hanging out with us right now. All the Safarians. We go and we take a rest. We get some food. I actually have a not really a job interview, a job audition. I'm going to play music at School of Rock, which is a school for young rockers locally, and maybe be working there part-time after school to make the ends meet and to buy more guitar parts so I can just keep building and building, you know?
So yeah, I put the link for Ben's show into the chat earlier. The OU81 channel, 2 channel is going to have a show at 5 p.m. Eastern today. And so make sure that you check them out, and their link is there in the chat. And I want to know
if going and then, or is that going to be, which one is Ben's? Or is it the same time?
No. So 5 p.m. Eastern is 4 p.m. my time. But OU812 is going to go, and then that almost sometimes leads into where Ben starts at
2 o'clock Pacific.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I'll be hopefully getting maybe a haircut. Man, I need a haircut real bad. I'm really getting, I'm like the, I mean, seriously. It is very, very similar.
You can't see that now. Oh, with all that being said, go make sure you check out OU812 later today. Make sure you go and you check out Ben Coombs tonight. Both are going to be absolutely excellent shows.
Subscribe to me.
And 11 o'clock for ASMR. Gina says, okay, Great. Janice, are you going to make it out to that jam? Or are you still going even though it's 60 miles? Just out of curiosity?
11 o'clock for ASMR. What's ASMR? Anyway.
Yeah, I think it's a Johnny Bean show.
Oh. Yeah, Presley Van Winkle. Hey, remember to subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get up to 420 subscribers and $420 contributed, and then I'm sending this thing out to somebody because I need to hit some marks. Also subscribe to Charles, and if you have already subscribed, send an invite out to your friend that kind of likes guitar to have them watch us too, because that would be cool. Eventually, all the people that are here now will be like the people that will be the OGs when it's scrolling super fast, and then they all become channel members or whatever it is, because you just gift them the channel membership so the people that are OGs. That happened to me. I don't know if it happened to everybody else out there too. Did it happen? Phil McKnight, when I was watching, they just sent me a free channel membership for a month, which I don't renew because I can't afford it. But I don't know.
It's kind of tough. There are so many channels I want to be a member of, and you're right, there is only so much money, but there are a couple channels that I am a member of and will always be a member of, and so.
Hey, when things turn around, I'm going to be donating big time, especially if I have to go on Ben's channel and eat gummies just to sort of help my boy get support. I could do that. You know what I mean? I'm there.
And one of the things that I like to do with channels is, especially when I'm really appreciating what's going on, I will do the super chat, which is often ends up being, more than what you would at the lower amount of membership anyway.
Oh, we have to answer this before we go, because you could turn this into a YouTube short.
Okay. So what does the 75N stand for? The 75 is kind of a nod back to my service in the military. I was in the Army, and the Army was formed in 1775, and that's where the 75 came from. And the N is just for my last name, Nugent. So.
Nice. So now the mystery is solved, and that could have been a lie. There could be another reason why he's named himself that is like overtly sexual. It could be just very offensive. It could be, a number of things, but we don't know. All we know is this military story that is supposedly true.
Oh, yes.
So, no, dude. I mean, you have a way better name than mine. Mine was given to me, so I didn't even make it up.
Well, no, I love your channel name because it is Presley California Customs, right?
Pretty much. Yeah. It should be Presley California Customs never posts. What it actually is. But I did get I have this that came in, so I should do a fake unboxing where I go back and like, oh, look what came in, because I already unboxed it, but whatever. I want to talk about it on my channel maybe. So
okay, which link did we get an error on, folks?
Well, you know what? Whatever link it is, maybe it was this. I don't know. It doesn't matter. If it was a Presley custom one, don't worry about it, because I'm already flooded. Boy, that Reverb website can barely handle the traffic coming to my page. Whew. It's at least 2 visitors a month.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, hey, I got to go get ready and go to the School of Rock and go rock out with these kids. You guys go and rock out at home. Turn it up. Herb, everybody else, Rico, all you peeps. Appreciate you. Ben, I'll see you be there tonight and hang out. I'll see you. You won't see me, but I'll chat. Yeah.
Want to thank everybody for being in the show next week, being in the show today, and look forward to seeing you again next week. Go ahead and check out everybody else. Thank you for joining us. We really super appreciate it. Go play some guitar, folks.
Yeah. Do, 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 do.